The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Play Some Video Games, the only gaming podcast that will spend pretty much 2 or 3 weeks covering a 3-day-long event known as E3. This is our first regular episode of PSVG we've had in quite some time because I had to actually go back and find when the last one was. I thought it was before E3, but then remember we did the MomoCon episode, so that wasn't a regular episode. So here we are finally with a regular episode. It is I, your host, Kevin. Thank you so much for listening in and each and every week, hopefully telling some friends and spreading that good word. We appreciate you tuning in with me. We're taking it old school tonight. It's just Donnie and I. Sir, how are you?
Greetings, Koopalings. What's up, Kev? Yep, it's just us.
Just us. And we're both tired. So I don't know how this is going to work.
Yeah, as I say, I feel like I'm letting folks down. I've been tired like the last 2 days, and I haven't been my peppy self.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we can get you riled up later on this episode. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, E3's done. So thankfully you don't have to hear us talk anymore about that for another
back to normal
11 months, and then we'll start up all over again, probably. So, it is what it is, but we're going to do a regular episode. So it's been a long time since we've talked about what we've actually been playing, because believe it or not, we do still play video games. We don't just talk about them. Occasionally we squeeze in some time to play them. Donnie, what have you been playing?
Well, I talked Shaq last night. I've been doing the Xenoblade mainly. I tried doing the Shovel Knight, didn't work out, but I've been doing the Xenoblade. I'm in chapter 4 now. One thing I listened back to Shaq today, one thing I didn't mention was how good the story gets in chapter 3, 4, the area that I'm getting into, it really starts to sink into it. And I can see, if it keeps up on that pace, I could see why Caroline is so over the moon about it. Actually, if it was to keep the current pace, I have no idea, but if it was to keep the current pace throughout the end of the story, it could quite possibly be the best Xenoblade story, narrative. And that's a big deal. Outside of that, playing Mario Golf. We're still trying to get our Mario Golf thing going. It looks like the DLC initiative is just dead on arrival. The moment we started asking people to buy the DLC, everybody stopped playing. So maybe next week.
Hold on, people. You got people to shell out what, $20-$25 I think for Mario Golf still goes for that to play. This game that's what, 3, 4, 5 years old at this point, whatever it is.
We played for 8 straight weeks.
Right. And then you stop at what, $15, $10 DLC?
$15. People were like, it's too much, Donnie.
You've pushed me too far, sir.
Too far. And the sad thing is you get so many really good courses, better courses. It's worth it. It's worth the money. Anybody that's played the game, I think I've never met a person's I'm really upset that I bought that. But yeah, people have stopped. So maybe next week or after 4th of July, because we're going up until 4th of July, maybe after the 4th, we will go back to the regular Mario Golf stock courses and just keep playing those. And I did take part in some of the Steam summer sale today. I fired up the old Steam over there on the old PC, and I played a couple of those games today. I played a little Fire Pro Wrestling World.
Oh,
that's a mess. That was a mess of a game. I do appreciate that the customization that the community has built into the thing is insane. You can download any wrestler with all their move sets and everything, all the way back to the 1980s. It's fantastic. They have collections and everything. So that's cool. You can't download rings like you can in WWE 2K, but you can download assets to make your own rings. So there are people that have the Nitro and NWO logos that you can do, but I'm not going to make it. I was no, I'm not going to do that. But the game itself is a mess. The menus are horrendous. It's bad. It took me a long time to figure out how to actually not play the game. I mean, set the character to player 1. It's when you start an exhibition match, it's set to default computer versus computer, and you have to change it. And it's not like Madden where you just click your controller over. It's this weird thing, and if I put it into words, I don't think it's going to come across right, or maybe it's just going to make me look like an idiot. But there's rows on left and right. There are rows, right? And it says CPU. And then it has like a title for the character. So when you highlight over the row, you pick your character. You then have to highlight back over to the left once again to change CPU to one player. I've never seen a game ever do that in my entire life. Like, it really, really threw me for a loop. That was pretty interesting. So in that regards, Kevin, did I lose you? Uh-oh.
I've got
there.
What happened? I like froze on my end.
There you go. I got you back. Yeah, so I mean, I've never seen anything like that before. So it really threw me for a loop. So it took me a minute to figure it out. And there's really no instructions either. So it's like a lot of Googling, trying to figure it out. And the game itself, like getting the wrestlers that I downloaded into the game, and like when you're in the game and you select like to go online, like normally, you know, like some sort of, I don't know, like lobby menu would pop up or something. It just launches the Steam Workshop, and then you have to navigate through all of the Steam Workshop menus and everything that's already there. So long story short, I was seriously sitting here playing this today, and I'm like, I don't know how this is going to how it's going to get to PlayStation 4 this fall. It's supposed to come this fall, and I'm like, I don't know what this is going to look like. They've got to redesign everything on the back end, I think, to make that work. But you know, it is a fun kind of old school wrestling game. It's got a stamina mechanic in the game. It's not like a bar either. It's not like a bar that sits on the thing. Like, your wrestler just starts breathing heavy, and if you run out of stamina, like, you just stop. You can't do anything. And there's a button to breathe. So in between trying to execute moves or punches, you have to like press and hold. It's not fun. Ultimately, I don't want to keep going on about this. Ultimately, I paid $25 for it, and I'm really glad I didn't pay $50, because if I waited until the PlayStation 4 version and I paid $50, I'd be upset. Yeah. Like, if this is what I paid $50 for, I'd be pretty pissed.
That's understandable.
On a good note, to end on a good note, I did start playing A Hat in Time, which is something I've been following for many a year.
Oh, yeah.
And it's as advertised. It's pretty good. It's I've only played the first couple levels. I already enjoy it more than I ever enjoyed Yooka-Laylee. So, I mean, like, if we're looking for a barometer there, I mean, I would say it's better than that. Camera, it's a 3D platformer. For anybody that has no idea, this is a game that was being Kickstarted back in the Wii U day. So it's been out for a while. And I think it got to Xbox, maybe PlayStation 4. I think it got to Xbox. But I know it's on the Steam summer sale. I think I got it for $20, $16.99, something like that. And 3D platformer, has like this.
It's not everything but Switch, apparently, which is weird because you think that would make the most sense.
There you go. It's 3D platformer, has an art style that's very close to something you would imagine out of like Wind Waker. Mm-hmm. And it kind of jumps around like Mario, and it's got good camera control. So if any of that appeals to you, it's probably worth, $20. So I'm looking forward to playing it more. So I played the first couple levels, and I said, man, this is as good as people said it, like as good as people said it was going to be, like, especially this is an indie game, so right. Like I wasn't going into it expecting to be blown away, and it kind of is overachieving. So I immediately was like, all right, I'm going to close this down. And then tomorrow I'll hook the laptop up to the TV, and I'll start playing it on the TV and show it to the kids. Cause I think my daughter's going to like it a lot. The character is this little girl. She's got a little top hat. It's super cute. So I think she's going to be into it, but that's really it. That's what I've been playing the last week or so.
Fair enough. All right. So I'll go over mine then. It's been a while for me, so I've talked about this. Fortnite, no need to talk about that. I'm playing that. Shaq Fu. So I was excited for this game for a while. We know I've had NBA Playground, so I was getting Shaq Fu for free, which in my mind I kept joking that this is the best deal ever because I'm getting a good game for having bought a terrible game. I'm right. Okay, I'm saying it right now. Shaq Fu is a ton of fun. It plays just like an old school Streets of Rage game with updated graphics, but the voiceover acting and the writing in this game is so funny. Like I know some of our friends in the Discord have backed me up on this, playing it as well. It rivals the humor, I would say, with like South Park, but without being super dirty like South Park. I mean, just like the raw, like well executed humor. They do it a lot, and Shaq 100% does not take himself serious at all in this. Like, he embraces every single
So is
thing
it
he's
actually Shaq voicing it?
Yes.
It's literally.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
just assumed that they got somebody that sounded like Shaq.
Nope, and he rapped a theme song for it as well.
I played the first 3 levels, and it's kind of Streets of Rage fun. Yeah.
And that's all I wanted from it. Like, I was like, hey, this looks like Streets of Rage. Cool. If it's like that, then it's great. Pokes fun of, celebrities nowadays. That's his mission. He's taking out celebrities, but they're actually demons disguised as celebrities. So they basically, you can beat the crap out of, Kanye West and Paris Hilton and Justin Bieber, every person's dream. But yeah, he embraces every single thing, like Shaq Diesel, his rapper name. He has a power up where he turns into Shaq Diesel. To regain health, you use Icy Hot, and there's lots of like Icy Hot nods throughout the game. So it's really funny. If you didn't buy NBA Playgrounds and you're thinking about buying Shaq Fu, I think it goes for 20. 20 might be a little much because it is kind of short. Like, I beat it in a few days. But if you can get it for like 15 or less, it 100% is worth it. It is a ton of fun. A great title. Other than that, the joke game that I ended up getting that I wasn't sure if I was even going to like, but I just did it on a whim. And you guys have been touting Kevin game for a while. Sushi Strikers. This game, it's reviewing well too. Like, that's the thing. Yeah. So it reviews well, but I think not a lot of people are giving it a shot. I'm not a huge puzzle game person, but this plays unlike anything I've ever played before as far as a puzzler. Like, yes, it's a puzzler, but you don't need to think super hard about doing it. It's more about fast reactions more than anything. I think is being able to just make these combos that flow very well together and battle your opponent while eating and throwing sushi plates at each other. So the voice acting, it's funny. It's very like anime style, but not like Dragon Ball Z style, like cutesy anime. Yeah. The cutscenes are phenomenal. Yeah. And everybody has voice acting in that game as well. So it's a lot of fun there. It's not like you're reading every text thing. Like, nope, a lot of it's discussion and dialogue. Has like little nods to like Pokemon-esque and like Digimon and stuff like that with the sushi sprites that you gather. Each of them have different power-up abilities. You can carry 3 at any given point to use in battle. I mean, you can collect them all, but type of thing there too. So they each have unique abilities. Like, hey, you can string together any sushi plates. Doesn't have to be the same color. Or you can just rapidly click a button and eat desserts, and you'll regain health and something like that. So they have different ways of plotting your team out basically as you're battling with Sushi Strikers. But if you're a fan of puzzle games, even if you're not a hardcore fan of puzzle games, the demo was pretty accurate, but I found the demo didn't really get you to where the game opens up, which happens 5 or 6 levels into it. It really opened up. So just outside the demos when the game really opened, because honestly, I wasn't super crazy about the demo, but I gave it a chance anyway because it was reviewing really well. I was like, let me roll the dice, see what happens. Paid off. I love Sushi Strikers. No problem with it at all. So if you catch that on a sale, pick it up for sure. I think it's
I mean, I thought when I first saw it, I know everybody made fun of it when it came out in that direct, and I was like, well, come on, everybody was super happy to talk about how great Battle Chef was. I kind of thought that like this paved the way. Like, I found it interesting that Nintendo releases a puzzle game around, like matching food items, and everybody's like, oh, this is terrible. But Adult Swim does it, and they're like, it's really good, guys. You should give it a try. Like, it's just I don't know. Like, sometimes we get set in our ways, and it's a little interesting to just ask why.
Right. It's totally something that is not, like you said, it's not your typical thing you'd expect Nintendo to do. But once again, Nintendo shows that there is no typical thing you should expect from Nintendo ever, because they'll always do something wacky like this. So I really hope it does well. Maybe if they do kind of a price adjustment, get it down to like $30, it might sell a lot better. But I mean, it's reviewing so well. So it's just a matter of people, waving that flag for it to get people's attention.
This one's in my Black Friday bag. Like, this is one of those things I'm going to look for on a really cheap deal, and I'm going to look for it on 3DS. Okay. All the reviews that I read said that touchscreen, playing it with a touchscreen and stylus, really helps it.
See, I don't know. I almost find it easier with the Joy-Cons and the knobs to me, but because it flows to playing it with the Joy-Cons will only allow you to highlight and make combos where you can. Like, it won't let you select the wrong thing. So if you're making a chain and then you stop, you can waggle your Joy-Con all the way around. If you can't move, you let it go, and that's your combo. I imagine if I'm doing it with the stylus, I'm going to keep trying to make combos where I can't because I have to physically touch it. So for me, that was because I too was thinking the same thing. Like, do I want this on 3DS or on Switch? And I ultimately landed on Switch. I thought because I think the control scheme actually helped me.
And I mean, it's going to look so much sharper. But I mean, I probably read 5 reviews, and you know me, like the normal rounds: IGN, GameStop, GameXplain, Nintendo Life, Nintendo World. I want to say I think every one of them mentioned.
I believe you're right. I think you're right. It's just for me, it's the game moves too fast for me that I think I'd want to rely on a stylus and looking down at the smaller screen and being like, yeah, I can chain these, because you're not chaining the same sushi. So like you can have California rolls on your whole chain here. You can't connect them all together. You actually have to connect the colors of the plates, which is almost sometimes harder to see because you're seeing the sushi and that's what you're focusing on. So then you now shrink the screen down to the 3DS size, and now you're having your hand over the screen as you're doing it, to me would make it a little bit harder. But you're right. Every review I saw did say it was better to play on 3DS, but it looks better on Switch. So, But yeah, Black Friday deal for sure. I'm encouraging Nintendo fans to not sleep on this game permanently. If you don't want to spend the money now, I totally get that, but don't just ignore this game. It is totally worth it. I assure you. Next game, well, actually, I'll skip one here from my list. Going to Forza Horizon 3. So that was a game I'd never given a shot. The Xbox conference got me interested enough to say, okay, let me try this. And I said this to Nathan when we talked about Ubisoft briefly, I was wrong about this game a little bit, because when I saw Forza, I always saw in my head, this is just a racing simulator type game, which I do not like those. Like Gran Turismo, I do not like those games. This is much more arcadey, which I did enjoy. Now, that being said, I probably put about 10, 15 hours into this, and I'm done. I don't need to play it anymore. I will still play 4 on Game Pass when it hits there, no problem. Like, I'm all for that. But I don't see these being a series, even as good as they are, being something that I will play for 40, 50, 60 hours. It's just not appealing, but I did have a ton of fun with it. So it's no fault of the game, just not my style of stuff.
I mean, we're really not all that different. No. Devin kind of made fun of me. I only played it for like 25.
Yeah.
I actually looked it up. I think it's like 23. I unlocked all the festivals. That's all I did.
I didn't do that. I think I made it to the second area, like the urban downtown area of this. Did a couple races there, and I'm like, cool, I totally get what this game's trying to do. I love this concept. I'm okay with it, but I'm done. Like, I don't need to keep driving around finding boards to run over and other things like that, tracking down racers and challenging them to a race. Like, no, I just like competing in the races and the different events they had, and it was fun.
The only thing I really enjoyed doing, I remember talking about it with Nathan when it came out and trying to trumpet it, because like you, I always was like, I don't really do Gran Turismo. I'm not really into this. And he kept trying to tell me, no, it's not that. And to be honest with you, while he was out there racing, while Mo was trying to prove to the world how great he was and everything, I was just bashing through signs and finding hidden cars. Like, I was doing nothing. I was just driving around. That's all I was doing. They were like, hey, you want to come run this circuit?
No. I'm good.
No, I don't.
I'm going to crash this dude's backyard right now.
I got to go find this truck. It's out in this shed somewhere. And I would just drive around, listen to music. And we found the Jurassic Park truck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like my son and me, we did. And then you got the Hot Wheels DLC. Like, I bought that, so you should get that. You should try that.
I do need to try it. You're right. And I have it downloaded. And because I downloaded that and the Frozen Mountain or Winter Mountain, whatever it is, that other one.
That was boring.
But yeah, you're right. I do need to try the Hot Wheels. So I'm not
That's more
completely
arcadey, like racing. Like if I would imagine if you were like, I want to go race down Everest, like that did it for you. I tried to race one of those. I was like, this isn't nearly as fun as the Hot Wheels. The Hot Wheels is much more fun.
I will try the Hot Wheels. What it made me realize, and this isn't a knock at Forza at all, because they do it masterfully. Like, this is one of the best racers ever. It made me realize how much I miss MotorStorm. If you played those games on PS3.
I never did.
I love those games, and it just made me miss that, because for me that was just a little bit more arcadey and a little bit more over the top and kind of off-road racing. And I kind of wish it had just a little bit more of that, but it's still great. So, but that's all.
I was a little, to be honest with you, I'm a little concerned, because all they really showed of Forza 4 is like all of like just races, and like how you can wreck into stones, but it was all just like races and real pretty graphics. And I was sitting there going, where are the signs? Where are the fireworks? Do I find hidden cars still? Like, I'm sure it's there because it's Forza Horizon.
But they didn't highlight it. Yeah,
they didn't talk about it. It's like, that's the whole point. Like, that's why people like me don't ever look at that game, because they present it like it's Gran Turismo.
You're right, because you wouldn't be able to tell by those trailers the difference between Forza Horizon or if it was a Forza motorsport game, essentially, because the motorsport's one that's more realistic, right?
Yes, so that's like all.
You're right. The way it was presented, it could have been the same exact thing. It could have been either one of those games. You're right.
Yep. So I'm always like, man, show somebody like flying off the edge of a cliff and busting through a thing. Like, go Burnout with it, or at least do 2 trailers. right? Do your awesome trailer to unveil it that shows how pretty it is in racing, and then have like a goofy 30 seconds at the end. After you bring the car on stage and talk about it, then end with something really, really funny. I don't know. That was something I took away from the conference this year. I wish they did more of that.
Sure, that's fair. A couple of quick notes then. The last thing I'm going to talk about that I'm playing currently is Fragments of Him. So this is a game that came super highly recommended by Coach Mo, and he actually gifted it to me, which means he gifted it to you as well. It's a walking simulator, so we thought we'd enjoy that because you and I typically like those kinds of games. We might differ on which ones we like the best, although I think we agree Edith Finch so far has been the best one. We're always a sucker for a good story, and this one has it. So I don't want to give away too much because you haven't played it yet, obviously, and I do want you to at least try it. It's not terribly long. I looked up how long the gameplay says. It says it takes 2 hours, so it's not a long game. However, I think it's 2 hours of actual playing, and there's a lot of like loading screens and intermissions that kind of go on because I feel like I've been playing it more than 2 hours. I feel like I'm closer to 3 and I'm not done yet. So, but the basic premise is it follows the relationship of a guy and a girl, and it's done from the perspectives of each person involved in this story. So you see a little bit of his story, you see a little bit of her story, you see a little bit of like his grandmother's story because she helped raise him. So it's kind of going all around what happens to this guy, and it's not a spoiler because it's in the name of it. He's passed away at this point. So it's kind of like the ghost of him, and they kind of recap his life and his experiences. So it's done very minimalistic.
How long is it?
The game?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's 2 hours. It says
okay,
but I'm close to 3.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's not super long. Done very minimalistic. Everything's like kind of gray tone, and there's not a lot of detail in the character. So like you'll see like the boy, you can tell it's a boy. You can see his outfit, you can see his hair, but he has like no face. You just see kind of like the polygonal outline of him.
I gotcha.
And the girl and every the human character in there.
So
almost
like
everything's
like that Dragon Cancer.
Yeah,
Okay.
or even what was the other one? Everyone's going to the Rapture. Everything's kind of like washed.
Okay.
And certain things will highlight a certain color to show you like, hey, you can interact with this thing, and this will take you to the next portion of the story. I don't know if I'm going to love it as much as Coach Mo wants us to love it. I think because he's touting it as like one of his favorites, if not his favorite. But I'm enjoying it, and I just want to see how this wraps up and where it's going. Because as of right now, it's a little bit of a drag for me, and not because of the content. Like I don't mean it's depressing me. I just mean it's kind of slow going. But stay tuned. I'll have that done before our next episode, so I'll kind of recap on that. 2 things that we'll talk about though too. Did get in the mail today from Seth because we kind of went in on it together. Detroit Become Human. So I will be playing that. So I will definitely talk about that later. And I think Seth is the only one of us to play that. Maybe Coach Mo has played it, just not talked about it, but looking forward to doing that.
That's got me hyped for it. Coach is going to sell me his copy because he wasn't as into it, but Seth kind of got me. That's another one on those I'm looking for a deal type things.
Exactly. Seth and I went halves on it, so I got it for half price essentially. So nice. I'm okay with it. Like if I know I'm going to like it at least as much as like Heavy Rain in those, so at $30, that's fine with me. The last thing we'll talk about, and I brought this up before, is that Toys R Us is going out of business. We know that. I think this weekend, as we're recording this, is the last weekend. So by the time you're hearing this, everybody, unless you're watching live, it's closed. I got in Skylanders Imaginators for $20 on Switch before the starter pack. So I couldn't walk away from that because I'm like, well, even if it's not a good Skylanders game, this is really cheap and it's on Switch, so it's something different. Coach Mo loved this one. This is going back to the quote-unquote good Skylanders games, like the first 2 or 3. So this one actually is good. I am loving it. So I've been playing it with my wife a little bit and a little bit solo. If you can snag these things anywhere, get them. But the crazy thing, I don't know if you have these stores in your area. Do you have Five Below in your area?
We do. Yes, we do.
So I occasionally go there. My kids love to go there. So I'll go and I call and kind of poke around because you can sometimes find video game stuff there. For instance, like Battleborn, I see there all the time, and I freaking love Battleborn, but you can get on PS4 or Xbox, $5. They must have gotten some inventory from Toys R Us because one of the stores I had the Skylanders Imaginator starter packs for $5. Which they didn't have it on Switch. That was only PS4 and Xbox, and I think Wii U they had. But they did have some of the expansions. So I actually, for $5, got the Crash expansion, the Crash Bandicoot one. So that unlocks another world for $5. And then I actually got another one, which comes with the Sensei, expansion world thing, and then the creator gems that you need to create your own custom ones there too. But for $5. So if anybody's on the fence about Skylanders, you should be able to get a good deal anyway, because I know people are buying them up in masses from Toys R Us. Or you check Five Below, you'll get them. But then the expansion packs are out there super cheap too.
So what's the game? Like I've never. We tried to do Skylanders, and after that failed, I wrote all of it off. So what is with these packs and these characters that's got you playing the actual game?
All right, so the last couple that I played prior to this one, they tried to get real gimmicky. So the last one I played before this one was Superchargers, and that's the one where they introduced the vehicles.
That's the one with Bowser and Donkey Kong.
Yes.
That's the last one. That's the one we tried. And I was like, never again.
I didn't like it because of the whole, like, hey, you need a car to get to this part of the world, or you need a boat to get to this part of the world. And Skylanders had never locked content behind these figure paywalls, unless it was an expansion, which was like another world. That I understand. But like the base game, you could always get through the whole thing with what was in the starter pack. Then they started to get away with them with Trap Team and Supercharge and all stuff. This goes back where you can do the whole game with what you have outside the box. All my old Skylander figures work with it, which is awesome. So that's a plus. I have a huge collection from the first two. But you don't need vehicles. If you have vehicles, you can use them for bonus levels, but they're not locked. They don't lock you from certain areas of the world because you don't have a helicopter or whatever. And the same thing, there are certain areas that you need the certain elemental senseis, they call them. That's what the bigger figures are that are in these ones. Like Crash is considered a sensei. Those will unlock bonus levels where you can get extra power-ups and items. But once again, it's not a story-based paywall at all, which is awesome. And then the fact that these ones you can create your own Skylander. So you get these little gems. Actually, hang on one second. I'll move my mic because I think it's under here. Yep. Okay. So I have one of these out of the box. These gems here. So this is what element is this? This is the Earth element gem. And with this, you put this on like you would in Amiibo, and it allows you to create your own Earth Skylander, down from what their appearance is, to their voices, to their weapon set that they use, to everything. So it gives it a really cool, like, create your own Skylander thing. And I mean, Donnie, I'm not exaggerating. There's hundreds of combinations you can do. So from different animals to human-esque, to monkeys, to aliens, to robots, to whatever you want to do, you can make your own Skylander thing there too. And then as you play through the game, you unlock other armor, weapons, voices, taunts for these characters that you can continually edit them with too. So it's ever changing. Which is why I like this one. And it just goes back to the simpler Spyro early Skylander games where it was kind of just focused on like, hey, this plays just like Diablo for kids. And it's a little bit easy. So just having fun with it. It's nice and easy to pop in and play and have fun with. But that's what I'm about. So if you can get it cheap with all these things going on, grab it. I agree. I think it's worth it if you were a fan of Spyro or Crash or any of the old Skylander games.
Cool.
But that was a lot of talking on what we've been playing. We had to get out of our system post E3, so it's all good. So it's time to move on from hearing from us, and instead we're going to hear from you, the fans. And it's time to open up, after we blow out the dust and let the little butterflies come out of it, the mailbag.
Message for you, sir.
First one comes in from Trash Turkey. So, Donnie, which third-party developer had the best music on NES? Capcom, Konami, or Sunsoft? And before you answer, because I know you immediately put hashtag Kevin question, I want to give you some examples of games that these developers were known for on NES that might help jog your memory a little bit if you're not super familiar. So for Capcom, some of my favorite soundtracks they had done, they were known in the NES times for doing a lot of the Disney cartoon ones. So they did Chip and Dale, they did DuckTales, they did Darkwing Duck, all the Mega Man games, not Contra. And that's kind of what they were known for. Konami did like Blaze of Steels, Goonies 2, Castlevania games, obviously, Double Dribble. And then Sunsoft is kind of the underdog here. They're the lesser known one as far as by name. However, they did Blaster Master. They did the Gremlins video game. They did the first Batman game that people love. They did the Addams Family game, stuff like that too. So those are what those ones are known for as far as their most prominent video game soundtracks there.
Tecmo Bulls theme. There you go. That's my answer. Going back, harken before Madden, there was Tecmo. The Tecmo theme is good. No, the out of those options, I would probably go Capcom. Yeah. The, DuckTales is it's good stuff.
Yeah, that's fair, and that's my answer too. Same reasons. Those Disney games had great soundtracks. Now, Sunsoft was a very close second for me, but it's just those. So Sunsoft is if you were like just listening to the music and didn't know what it tied to. I think it's the best music. But once I hear those Disney Capcom ones, like right away I can go back to singing Chippendale's Rescue Rangers theme song or seems like right away I'm like, yeah, this is perfect.
Tunes, they sound really cool.
They do.
We've angered Nathan. Nathan says Konami in the chat. So
Konami was my third. It wasn't even up there for me. Sorry.
It's like I didn't even consider it.
Sorry. I really didn't. I mean, Castlevania soundtracks are great, but yeah.
Yeah, the Castlevania soundtracks are pretty awesome.
Yeah, but that's all it did for me. And the Goonies 2 one was okay too, but it was weird having Goonies 2 and there wasn't a Goonies 2 movie, so it was a little weird. But yeah. So thank you, Trash Jerky, for sending that in. We'll skip down here to not Backlog Blues. Skinny Matt, what game has released this year are you most disappointed with?
So he wants us to rain down on some salt, which I guess is good because we're like in these tired kind of crummy moods. So I mean, it's okay. So like, it's a bit difficult. I normally conduct my market research. I try not to buy bad games. It doesn't mean that I buy 9s and 10s all year. Like there are certain games that I realize are a 7, but I may enjoy them, or a 6 or a 5. Games. Old Man's Journey disappointed me greatly.
Yes.
We were talking about that today as Daniel got a Switch finally, which is awesome. I can't wait for us to play games with him. Right. But he was talking about these indies that he's all excited for. And I was like, not that one, because I was excited for that one and was like, I wish we had digital refunds. I wish I could get my money back for that one.
Yeah.
In that regard, one of the ones that we reviewed, The Long Reach, gotta say it let me down. Not that it was terrible, but I think we all agreed, because you beat it, right?
Yep.
And Jason beat it. I think we all agreed there was a lot that they could have done there. Like they had something and they just never reached that potential. It was disappointing is the right word. That's how I would review the game. The game is disappointing. Yeah. It's not as bad necessarily. It's just like it could have been amazing and it wasn't.
Yeah, I agree.
State of Decay, I think it's disappointing. I feel out there a little bit on that one because I don't see there's a part of me that wants to call out fanboy. Like I want to call it out. Like the people that are like, I love it. I'm like, of course you do. Like I haven't seen a whole lot of people that I wouldn't think would love it, loving it. And the people that love it, like they really, it's like they're like, it's amazing. And I don't know. I mean, everybody can have their own game, right? Just like Mo can hate Breath of the Wild.
Yep.
I don't think that game is amazing at all. Like not even close. I found it to be repetitive. Playing on X, I didn't think it was anything to really look at. And for a game that we've had, and I've played the first one on Steam, so I knew kind of what I was getting into. I expected more, I guess is the right word. I was like, man, it's first party now. Like, this is an exclusive. It's been in the hopper for so long. Like I had big expectations. And then, all of the menu stuff and everything that you had to dive into, like it really lost me with all that extra stuff. Like as most games that get real complex and all that nitty gritty stuff do, like any game that goes, like I'm playing Xenoblade, but I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah.
Like whereas Caroline's working infinity charts and all, I'm not I just keep going to the next waypoint and keep moving on. So like all that really lost me, but really even outside of that, like I wasn't impressed visually. I wasn't impressed with the gameplay. I played it for a weekend. Disappointed. I was disappointed in that one. I expected more from like a story angle. I expected more. I mean, it's really just like a multiplayer game. Like Sea of Thieves. I wouldn't call Sea of Thieves disappointing game. I knew what we were getting with that one.
See, I'm in the boat. So Old Man's Journey is definitely on my list for games I was most disappointed with. So I'm with you there. I don't think you've played this yet, but I know I have that Fee, whatever you want to call it.
I didn't play it because you didn't like.
Yeah, it very much was something that was like all style and no substance for me. I did not beat it. I eventually will probably go back at some point this summer, especially like when I'm at the beach house and I don't have access to my full video game library. I'll look at my Switch and go, what haven't I beaten yet? And go back to it. So I'm sure I will, but I was really, really bummed about that one because I was excited for it. And then like you have a great point here with State of Decay, but I will say I'm not as disappointed with State of Decay as I was with Sea of Thieves. So I'm a little bit reversed there. I played Sea of Thieves like twice, and the only reason I played it was because I was playing with friends. That's the only reason it was good. State of Decay, I could at least play alone a little bit, and I put more time into it, but I could play and do some more things on my own.
Sure.
Than I could in Sea of Thieves. So for me, it was like, okay, well, it's not as bad, but yes, that both games are definitely better.
I would just like to point out that Sea of Thieves was meant to be played that way. Like that's
right.
Like the whole idea that you have to have more people just to drive the boat. Like there are so many gates. I wouldn't necessarily knock it because it's meant to be played that way, but I understand what you're saying. But
I was just expecting more from
Thieves, I was like, when you did play it with friends, I was like, I've never played anything quite like this before.
Yeah,
and it's gorgeous, you know. Like, and there were a few nights where I played, especially that night I played with it was Nathan, Mo, and I want to say Q was at least there with us.
Yeah, I think Q was commenting. If you said, remember Jason, I think Jason was playing.
Jason, that was a blast. We had so much fun. If we did that more often, I mean, I'd be totally down to play with more of it. But there's just like, you know, you reach a point and there's nothing to do. That's like that game's problem. Like they're like, just keep doing that. And it's
keep doing those same three things over and over and over again.
I don't want to keep doing that. I want to do something else. It'd be one thing if we could like go raid a fort or something, you know, like go do some epic quest.
Or any semblance of a story might be nice where it's like, hey, you have a point to doing all this. Like, nice.
I just wanted to go find treasure. Like that. Right. My biggest thing with Sea of Thieves, I'm tired of everybody shooting at me. It's just, God, they need to go battle royale with that thing because that's all people want to do.
Yes.
I get in there and I'm like, all right, I want to go try to find the Kraken, and I move 1,000 meters and I just die because everybody shoots cannonballs at me constantly.
Or you don't even get off the island; people are attacking you.
Yeah, that's my only thing with it. I want to live in that world. You know, like I want to do that.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
A Way Out. Are we ever going to try to play that again? You dogged me because we were talking multiplayer and Xbox. And I was like, dude.
I forgot about that. I totally will try more of it with you because I think it's, once again, that game literally is only fun because I'm playing it with you. I'm totally down with trying at some point in the summer to do at least a little bit more of it, if for nothing other than our own entertainment. As far as like
our commentary on the characters was the most fun part.
Oh God, yes, yeah. But you're right. That was another thing that was disappointing. Where like we saw it and initially like, hey, this is a great concept. How does this work? Okay, the mechanism for gameplay is cool, but that's it. There's nothing else going for it.
I wouldn't say it's cool. It's novel. It's like, that's unique. That's neat.
That's different.
Is it fun?
No,
not really.
No,
not. Is it good? Probably not.
No.
You know, putting that down for Far Cry 5 was the right decision.
Yeah.
I would have been really upset if we stuck with that one to finish it, only to
delay Far Cry 5. Yeah. All right. So thank you, Skinny Matt. We have one more, which is technically a 3-parter here, Donnie, from Backlog Blues.
Okay.
First one. So they all in the same context. So we're halfway done with this year, gaming wise, especially. We're a little over that now at this point, actually. What are your current top 5 games?
5,
regardless of system. So if you can't think of 5, do like 3 because he asked multiple questions.
Yeah, I could. I would have liked to have been a little prepared because I would have at least went and looked up the stuff I've been playing because I'm not even exactly sure the things that I've completed. Like there's a lot of indie games in there.
Okay, so you know, so while you do it, then so we'll skip to his other ones then because I think his other ones will be easier for you.
Okay.
What do you feel is your current game of the year?
Far Cry 5.
I'm the same way.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So I think I'm the only one of us that have both beat God of War. You haven't beaten that one yet.
I haven't even played it yet.
Okay.
I was hoping to borrow it off you, but somebody else has it apparently.
Yeah, and I don't. And Nathan's in the chat, and I don't even know if he's ever played it. Like I have yet to get.
Know. You got a PS4 Pro, so he should be playing it.
He should be playing it. Yeah, I think that's gonna put me. I question if that's gonna put me in like some sort of minority. Because I played both. I understand the justifications of both. I do think that God of War's like character models, their attention to detail is far greater than Far Cry 5. But I after I played them both, especially now that I have time away from both of them, I cannot get over the fact that I enjoyed playing Far Cry 5 so much more. And you're talking to somebody who beat God of War in a week.
Right.
Like I plowed through that game in like 6 days. And it was awesome. That game is really cool. Throwing the axe is super fun. but it's not Far Cry 5. Like Far Cry 5 is like GTA 5 fun. Like it's fun to just wreak havoc in this world, and the story I
loved it.
thoroughly enjoyed, and the Seed family are some of my favorite villains. I need a sequel.
Like I don't want to. Far Cry does villains so good.
I don't want a different one. I need a Far Cry 5 too. Like I need keep with the Seed family and let's pick up where we left off and let's run it back. They were great.
That's why I wish the Far Cry 3 Classic, which I mean they might have patched it. I haven't gone back to it. I wish that ran better. No, I was saying I just wish it ran better and you'd enjoy it because Voss, the villain in that one, is a phenomenal villain too. But you need to see more of him to get that. Which if you only play like an hour or two, you're never going to see it.
Yeah, I only played it.
I wish it ran better.
It runs like garbage on X.
See, it doesn't run like garbage for me, but I can see like I knew there was gonna be a difference because it's a much older game, but it feels a little too different for me than what 5 did.
I think because let me think about this, putting this the right way. I think it's running poorly because it's on X being pushed to a 4K TV with super sampling.
Oh,
like because the correlation that I make is when I turn it on, I see these lines, not like physical lines that you like CC, but like the lines behind the picture. You remember the Wolfenstein 2 issue that I had?
Yes.
That's what I have. I have that. Plus all of the shadows are super like stuttery. Like they blip like constantly, not like once, like constant. And the ocean. So like when you walk to a cliff, the ocean is like blinking. Like super, it looks like a strobe light.
Oh yeah,
I recorded it. Like I was like, nobody's gonna believe me. And I think and you remember with Wolfenstein 2, I found the fix. What was the fix? Take it from 4K back down to 1080p.
Yep.
Far Cry 3 won't let me. There's no option to tone it down.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's it. The only like real solution is hook it up to a different TV or to literally go in through all of my Xbox settings and redo it all. And I just wasn't about that. I was like, well, I'm going to turn this off. And I never gave it the good old college try. So you said that it just got patched. Maybe it's better now. I haven't played it since then.
I haven't gone back because I've been playing the Vietnam DLC for Far Cry 5.
I don't think I'm going to play it.
It's tough.
I read the reviews and it's like all super stealthy and I was like, this is not what I want.
The perks, so the story is good. You die much easier though. Because the battles, they swarm you now in this one, like because you're in the jungle, so you can't see the guys too well in the first place as you're going through, because it's also been night. I think every time I've played, it's never been daytime, so I don't know if it changes at all.
Nice.
Or it takes place all in one night. I'm not sure. So it's hard to see in the first place because you're in the jungle, it's dark. And like if you trip one person, they scream out, and then all of a sudden you're swarmed by like 20 people. Like, and you just can't. You don't have extended bags, you don't have extra inventory slots. It's kind of like what you got is what you got. Deal with it. And then you don't get perks at all. Your perks, you do get up to 4 perks. I think you don't get to choose them; they're just unlocked automatically. But it's while you remain undetected. So if you level up to 4 perks, somebody sees you, everything's gone. So it's kind of like, so it's really hard.
And that's more or less what I read in the reviews, and like that with the, like its emphasis on stealth. And I already thought Far Cry 5 as alone. I know all the reviews were like, there are a lot of reviewers that are upset that it was too easy. I thought it was challenging. There were several times in the game.
I thought it was the right balance.
Yeah, I died several times. There were several instances where I died multiple times trying to get through, and I was just like, oh. Yeah. So
I'm with you. I thought it was the right difficulty level for Far Cry 5, but this DLC is a little bit harder, so I'm anxious to see the next ones, which I think are going to be different. I think every DLC they do is going to have a very different feel to it, for sure. Stealth is not going to be involved in zombies or in alien invasions for sure. I guarantee that. All right, so next part of his question then. So we'll still hold off the top 5 games of the system while you can ponder that a little bit more.
I'm trying to think.
All right, so for the back half, what are the 5 games you're looking forward to? And do you anticipate any of them competing with your current game of the year? And if you want, I can go first, so you have time to think.
I don't mind going first on this one.
Okay, good.
I'm excited for quite a few games, and this actually might bring us to what we really need to talk about. You and I need to discuss what we're going to buy each other on Xbox.
Yeah, we do.
I am most excited to play games that I've already pre-ordered. Super Smash Brothers Forza Horizon 4. I know I'm missing one. Pokemon Let's Go. And the big one, Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the game that I'm hoping is my game of the year. Like, I want it to be every bit that great. That's the one that I kind of have. That's my fall is kind of built around that game. Like, I will stop purchasing and move things around and everything to play that game. And I hope it lives up to the Rockstar label. And I know there's a bunch of other games out there coming, and like Spider-Man, I'm looking forward to playing. Not pre-ordering it. Not sure I'll get it day one. Like, I'm not that looking forward to playing. Sure. I'm just looking. I will get to it sometime in the fall for sure. But those games are the ones that I'm looking forward to most. And I mean, man, if I can finish the Xenoblade prequel, like, I might just be right back into that again. Because I'm telling you, that story, it kind of got me. Like, you already know I talked about Shaq way too long. Dude, I've put like 20 hours in Xenoblade this week.
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
It's a lot of Xenoblade.
Yeah. All right, so for me, Smash Brothers Ultimate, that's one on there. Fallout 76 obviously is gonna be on there for me. Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's weird for me to say this because I've been on the record numerous times saying Red Dead Redemption wasn't, in my opinion, for me a great game. The first one, I didn't enjoy it as much as like everybody else did.
I'm with you. I liked the first one. That's why I always I've argued in GameStops for years about Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the game. It was good. It just wasn't amazing. It didn't have that moving the industry forward that it appears to have with so many other people. I wasn't in that camp.
Yep.
I was just like, that's cool. It's a cool Western story, So,
yeah. So I'm hoping. Hope it's good. Octopath Traveler, and then for me, Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah,
Spider-Man
Octopath
is in my list. So,
it's funny is my immediate thought went right to the fall. And I completely forgot that we've got Donkey Kong. I've got to get through the Octolings. We've got Octopath.
Dude, I haven't even started those.
Travis Strikes Again is supposed to be coming in August, but I have not heard anything about it. Really, I think it's going to get pushed. Like, I'm operating under the belief that game isn't out until 2019. Nathan asked us, "Where's Ori?" Ori got delayed to 2019, or it would totally be there. That was an upsetting moment for me at the Xbox conference.
Totally. Now, so do you think? Oh, you said Red Dead Redemption you think might overtake or could overtake your game of the year?
I don't think Pokemon will. Smash could.
I say Smash is tough because like I could see me sinking so much time into Smash, but then would I say like that's the best game I've played this year? I'm like, no, I just love Smash. Like, it doesn't have to be good for me to love it.
It's funny you say that because I think a lot of the feedback from people, all of the podcasts and Kotaku and Kind of Funny and all them, like people are like, well, how is Smash? And they're like, well, Smash is Smash.
Yeah, which isn't a bad thing. It's Smash.
And I'm wondering how much of that it's going to be because it literally is Smash. It's all the Smashes put into one box, which is amazing. Yeah. That's an amazing fact that people are just like glancing over because I guess they've seen it before. It has no surprise because they know that Pokemon Trainer. I guess that's it. But I'm thinking of it more from it'll be hard for, and I'm not even Smash guy, but it'll be hard for me not to give that game some credit when it actually comes and I play with 75, 80 characters on 75, 80 stages and play online and tournaments. And I mean, Lord of mercy, if they have some sort of single player that we don't know about, like if that comes like
Subspace Emissary, bring it back.
I mean,
bring it back.
The thing that I was on Twitter this past week, not like trumpeting for, because I've never been the person that's like stomped the ground for Smash, but I do find it interesting that people are taking what I would call pot shots at Smash because we live in an age where like Street Fighter 5 is still charging you for characters.
Yep. And
like Infamous, or not Infamous, but Injustice, like they have these DLC packs that come out in waves and you got to pre-order characters and bonus characters. And Nintendo comes out and they're like, it's the best fighting game that, it's the fighting game that all the tournaments play. And it's got every character that's ever been in it. And there's 80 of them and all the stages. And it's like, they literally did what you want every other fighting game to do. And people are like, eh.
Yep.
I find that a bit hypocritical, just a little bit. I'm not fighting game guy, but it's just like, really?
Yeah. And to be honest here, I do. Fallout 76, you would think I would say right off the bat, that's going to be my favorite game of the year. And it's in my top 5. It's in my top 5 that I'm looking forward to. But I'm still as excited as I am because I think a lot of you guys are going to start playing it, which will make it better for me having you guys to play too. I'm concerned that what I love about Fallout isn't going to be there. Like how, they say you can play this whole game still single player if you choose to, but now you can bring along friends. So I'm wondering how in depth is the story if there really is a story. And that's what I love about Fallout is the exploration, the story, the journey. If it's all simply focused on running around with your buddies in a Destiny-esque fashion, then it's not going to, I'll still love it, but it's not going to be Game of the Year. So I might have to say, barring some huge surprise from Red Dead, that Far Cry 5 may remain my Game of the Year overall.
So you're not interested in like running around and getting those nuke codes? Like I want to set off a nuke.
No.
Like I'm not going to, okay.
If it happens, sure, but I'm not going to be like gung-ho, like I need to launch a nuke at somebody.
Like, I want to watch somebody do that. Like that's what I like. I'll YouTube somebody doing that.
Exactly. Yeah, like I'll want to see what happens, sure, because I'm curious, but I don't want it to become Sea of Thieves where it's like, hey, I can't go anywhere because the second I step out, I'm either being attacked by people or somebody's nuking my settlement. Like,
I just looked up some stuff while we're talking, so I'm gonna go way over 5, but I completely forgot. We have the Luigi's Mansion remake coming. There's a Wario game coming. Overcooked 2 is coming. Little Dragon's Cafe is coming. Mm-hmm. What was the other one I saw? Oh, Spyro. Spyro. Mass out. That's right. Like that's one of the Xbox games that I'll be buying for us. So you put that on the list. Like I'm getting that game for sure. It comes out PlayStation 4 and Xbox, right?
Yes. That is. I just had the date up on that too.
And there's like no Switch. It's just those two.
Just those two as of right now. Yeah.
And then one of them
September 21st.
One of them that I'm hoping one of us gets is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I'm not super Tomb Raider person, but that trailer looked pretty good.
Yeah, I do want to play that, although I haven't played the last one. So this for me like would be I'll pick up when it's on sale. Yeah, we have the last one. I just haven't. It's on Game Pass too. So that's one I do want to play, but it's not a day one pickup for me. And then there's also another Xenoblade Chronicles DLC coming out September 21st. So
that's the prequel stuff that I love that it's a separate physical box.
Yeah.
And you're getting Call of Duty, like you're Mr. all of this stuff.
It may not be Call of Duty, it might be Battlefield. I'm still waiting to see. I want to see what these battle royales look like because now that they both have them.
If I could push you in a direction, if you want to buy Battlefield 5, I wouldn't be opposed to playing it.
Okay, then I probably will do that because my brother-in-law is a Battlefield guy over Call of Duty,
and
he would be another person we play for. He'd be another person we can play with. So I will lean that way unless something with the Call of Duty Black Ops Battle Royale is absolutely banana sandwich.
Just awesome.
Then, but I mean, I'm going to get in Battlefield anyway, and who knows? Like, who we kidding? I'm probably still be playing Fortnite anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
We get season 3 of The Walking Dead.
Yep,
which I'm totally going to be playing, and I'll be buying that on Xbox. And then Life is Strange season 2, so I'll be looking forward to that as well. Like there's, and I was actually, it's funny because I was thinking about this before we podcasted. I was like, man, there was a moment where at A3 I felt everything moved out of 18. But now that I look at the list,
when you look at the list, there's plenty. And it's fine. It's better that stuff moves out of 18 because then you'd really be like, I got too much stuff to play. I'm already at that anyway, but it'd be even worse. Yeah, exactly. So for sake of time, we're going to skip the first part of his question, the top 5 games of this system so far, because we kind of just rattled off all these things we've loved.
For me this year, to be honest with you, it's just Far Cry and God of War. That's it for me so far this year. Like that's my list.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Far Cry was definite. Thimbleweed Park comes to mind right off the bat for me.
Oh, did you say this generation or this year?
This year. But I didn't play until this year. So
okay,
I'm counting as
that's different. Okay.
But yeah, that's kind of it. Like I've enjoyed quite a few games, but there hasn't been anything I'm like, this is amazing, except for those two for me.
Hollow Knight's pretty amazing.
Yeah, for you. Yeah, I still haven't played that. I probably should. But I have too much.
You'll love it.
I think so too. As long as I'll get frustrated though if I hit those super hard points like you.
It's hard.
So yeah, that'll irritate me a little bit. All right, so thank you everybody for the questions there. You remember you can always tweet us at PSVG or mail us at playsomevideogames@gmail.com with your questions and we'll get to them. We're going to start doing this regular again now that we're back into the regular rhythm of things. So next thing we're talking about is new releases coming out this week as you're listening to the podcast. Big titles released here. I'm going to go through them, Donnie, and we'll talk about anything that might interest us here as far as what we might want to pick up or play. So the Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit comes out. So speaking of Life is Strange, that first. Now, is it one episode or is it
I think it's just it.
Okay.
I don't think it's episodic. I think that's it.
That's it. Okay. Which is fine.
No idea how it ties into this universe. None.
That's the thing too. Like, and I was not a fan of Life is Strange. I will openly admit that. I didn't play that second one that came out. That was a prequel. I have probably no intentions of playing the sequel. I do want to give this one a shot. This looked fun to me. And it's free, so why the heck not?
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to give it a shot. Crash Bandicoot's Insane Trilogy is hitting Xbox One now, PC and Switch this week. The Blob, did you play that game back in the day? So that's coming out for Switch. So that might be a cool one if you can get it on the cheap. I mean, I wouldn't spend $20 on it at this point, but that was a fun little game. If you're a fan of like Katamari Damacy or even Splatoon to an extent, I could see some Splatoon vibes off of that. So Far Cry 3 Classic Edition is available this week for everybody who did not have the Super Mega Ultra Far Cry 5 pass that we had. You'll be able to buy that separately now. Lumina's Remastered, I know you've talked about that a few times. That's dropping.
I have it
PS4, Xbox, PC, and Switch, so it's on all of the things, which is good to see. Nier Automata is coming to Xbox One next week. The Crew 2 drops on PS4 and Xbox One PC.
I'm interested about that one. If that one reviews well, it could go in the Black Friday box.
Seth should have some comments for you on that. I know he's in the beta and he's considering, because when I purchased my half of Detroit, I gave him some PSN credit for my portion. So he's already got a good chunk of that paid for. And I think he said he's going to sell some other things to make up for the rest, but he's leaning towards getting the Crew 2. So we might get some hands-on feedback there for you.
Very cool.
Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus is hitting Switch at the end of this week. Interested to see how people bite on that. We've heard some mixed things as far as it being on the Switch. Still in my head, getting a game like that on Switch at all is amazing, much like having Doom or anything like that there. So if it has some shortcomings, I can completely understand there. The only other things coming of note, so the Mario Rabbids Donkey Kong DLC will be hitting as well.
10 hours of DLC.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, and that's crazy. So like I have not purchased the the Octolings expansion, and I have not purchased the Rabbids DLC, and I have every intention on playing both of those. And I'm like, I have so much stuff to play, dude, and I want to play those because I loved Mario and Rabbids. Like that was a great game, and 10 hours of DLC, like that is
the Octo DLC is longer than that. It's tough. It's tough. It's like the Trial of the Sword for Splatoon.
Oh, see that doesn't help me.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I finished the single player campaign on Splatoon 2. Actually, I don't think I kept playing multiplayer. So
these are like challenges that they set you up with all the different weapons and they throw enemies at you, and it's not like just get through the stage. It's like get through the stage without getting shot. So it's Trial of the Sword stuff. Maybe
I'll start with Mario Rabbids first. And then the only other thing of note, so the PlayStation Hits is out next week too. This kind of stealth greatest hits announcement that they didn't announce at E3, but yet they're coming out. So you got Battlefield 4, Bloodborne, Metal Gear 5, Ratchet & Clank, Street Fighter 5, Uncharted 4, Doom, and Yakuza 0 are all in that. You'll be able to pick them up for $20, which is a good deal if you haven't picked them up. I've played most of this list except for Bloodborne, which I have zero intentions on playing. I do need to pick up Doom because I haven't played that yet. And then Yakuza 0 has me interested because I do like the Yakuza games, and you can't get them on the cheap, and that's a good price. Yeah, so
that was the one in the list that I was interested in.
Yeah. So that's it for releases for that week. So yeah, some interesting things coming along, right after E3, which is typically when we see a bit of a drought, which there's not huge blockbusters here, but there's a lot of good games for people who haven't been able to play it on other platforms.
I'm excited for Lumines to be back, man. I really am. It's going to be fun stuff. It was a great little portable game. That's why I'm getting on Switch. And I'm glad that's available everywhere. And I can't wait to get into all that fun craziness again.
Fair enough. So we've gone a little bit over our normal time here, so we're going to call it quits for this evening. So once again, thank you everybody for tuning in and hopefully telling a friend. Let us know feedback, and hope you're enjoying everything on the PSVG Podcast Network. Unless you've been under a rock, we have an announcement coming this week as you're listening to it. June 29th. Stay tuned to all of the things we do, and you'll get a little bit of a surprise there. That's all we're going to say about that. But Donnie, where can people find you, sir?
You can find me over there on that Twitter at Playing Nintendo, and you can check all of our writing stuff and articles and podcasts over there on the blog at psvg.blog. Tell a friend about the show. Let them know that they can search us on all their stuff. We're on everything. Like I make sure now weekly that we're on everything.
Yeah,
so
right.
Castbox and Beyond Pod and iTunes and Google Play. We just dropped a new podcast app. So if you got a friend out there that loves video games and is looking for some video game radio, just tell them like, hey, search PSVG one day and just give it a try.
Definitely. We appreciate that. But yeah, don't forget about psvg.blog. We've had actually a resurgence here of writing from some of the folks there on the team, with some reviews dropping, some stealth articles. Coach Mo's put up a couple opinion pieces while he's in his post-move off season, if you will.
Yeah.
But
all that World Cup coverage. Seth did Legendary 11 and I did Soccer.
Right. That's right.
days. We just hit both of them. And we have a new review for an indie game coming soon.
Fair enough. There you go. So stay tuned to all of the things, everybody. We appreciate you listening. You can follow me if for some odd reason you want to at PSVG.Kevin. You can follow the site just simply at PSVG. So stay tuned. Buckle your seatbelts, everybody. It's all been building towards this. But more importantly, we always ask that you never, ever, 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 forever, ever stop gaming.